Bangladesh won the toss and elected to bat first against India. A dubious decision, setting the stage for an intriguing battle. So far, they have managed to notch up a score of 210 runs on the scorecard for the loss of 6 wickets in 45 overs, with Naseem Ahmed and Mohammedullah currently holding the crease. Liton Das, the opener, played a splendid innings, scoring 66 runs before being caught by Sir Ravindra Jadeja, thanks to a fantastic effort by Shubman Gill. This marked Jadeja's second wicket of the match. He earlier dismissed Bangladesh's captain Nazmul Hussain Shanto, who is of course filling in for Shakib. He could only manage 8 runs in the process. Mehendi Hasan Miraj contributed 3 runs before being caught behind by wicket-keeper KL Rahul off the bowling of Mohammad Siraj. Another opener, Tanjeed Hassan, scored a fiery 51 runs before becoming the victim of Kuldeep Yadav. Spinners galore today. Liton Das completed his 12th ODI 50, accumulating 62 runs from 82 balls with 7 fours, showcasing a strike rate of 80.49, which is considered to be massive in the 50-over white ball game. Meanwhile, Tanjeed Hassan also achieved a milestone, securing his first ODI half-century on just 41 balls, but departed after scoring 51 runs on 43 balls. In an unexpected turn of events, Hardik Pandya sustained an injury during the match, hurting his heel in the 9th over of Bangladesh's innings. Virat Kohli, the former captain, took over the bowling duties, marking his return to World Cup bowling after an 8-year hiatus. The last time he bowled was in Australia during the 2015 World Cup, and I happened to be at the ground when he took on that mantle. Kohli conceded just 2 runs from 3 balls. Unfortunately, Pandya will not be able to bowl or field in this match due to this injury. Sunil Yashkalra, founder of ISF, joins me on the program to talk more about this. Tasmeen Granger, national player for the Zimbabwe women's cricket team, is also with me on the show. Thank you, both of you, for being a part of this conversation. Sunil, first up, it's very heartening to see that Bangladesh is putting up a fight against a juggernaut of a team, against a massive top scorecard and points table team like India. And without their staple captain.
Absolutely. You've got half of the team sitting inside. Shakib Hassan is a force to reckon with. Perhaps the greatest player Bangladesh has ever produced and one of the best all-rounders. Now, what has happened? With him sitting in the dressing room means that half of the side is there. However, who would have thought that teams like Netherlands, teams like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the new teams are fighting. Afghanistan, of course, that night what happened at the Arun Jaitley Stadium is a historic moment. So these are the moments that we live for. These are the unexpected uncertainties cricket is made up of.
And Sunil, you're absolutely right. If you look at Bangladesh, they're sitting above Australia, although both the teams have won only 1 match. But when you compare the net run rate, it's Bangladesh that has, of course, done better when it comes to the NRR as compared to Australia. Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Netherlands, of course, at the bottom of that table. They are relegated to the bottom spot. Right. New Zealand, of course, however, because of playing more matches, have replaced India as the team with the most wins so far on the points table. Tasmeen, your take on what's going on today. Bangladesh, of course, has upset India in the past as well. And what we Indians have learned while playing against Bangladesh is that you can never take them for granted. Is it one of those games, again, for the sake of competition? We were all hoping, because we saw what happened against Pakistan, for the sake of competition, we were hoping that Bangladesh would put up a fight, and that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, definitely. I think, they got off to a great start. They definitely got off to a flyer up front in the first 10. I actually was watching the game and someone actually turned around and said, is Bangladesh aware that they are playing the 50-over format at the rate that they were taking on the seamers up front? So great opening stand for me from, obviously, Liton Das up front. I think they really made a plan today, and that plan was to come at it, give it all they got, obviously, and take India on from the get-go.
Right, and let's also talk about Indian spinners. Mohammad Siraj, of course, did extremely well. He's in the middle of completing his quota of 10 overs. He's picked up 2 wickets. And if you look at his economy also, it's fantastic today. But it's Ravindra Jadeja and, of course, Kuldeep Yadav who have done most of the damage to the Bangladeshis today. So, obviously, it's also not a very easy wicket to play. I really get a little perplexed by seeing Bangladesh, Sunil, opting to bat first against India, who are traditional chasers.
Well, they've got this thing wrong, completely out of sorts, because their strength is bowling, and that too spin bowling. And this pitch somewhere gives them conducive environment to turn, spin, grip the ball. When you go inside the last 20-30 overs, the ball will have dew factor, the grip may be a problem, and by then India would have breezed through the required rate at which they are supposed to be out. But however, I'm going to make one point here, as you asked, Vineet, about these small teams. I mean, the teams that usually trouble and take the big teams away. And I think the concept and the template of taking teams for granted and taking smaller teams lightly and using your reserve bench strength are the days of the past.
Right, but Tasmin, what do you make of India's victory so far in the 3 games that we have played? Of course, 2 of them came against the formidable Australians and the Pakistanis, and one was, of course, Afghanistan. There have also been moments in our, cricketing performance where we were reduced to 2-4-3 in our chase against Australia, but we still came back. Like Sunil said, this is a format of unexpected demeanor and behavior. Do you think that there is perhaps a chink in India's armor that Bangladesh can exploit today?
Yeah, definitely. For me,
we don't have our all-rounder anymore. Hardik is not there.
That's very true. I did mention this earlier on in the show earlier today to say that India's middle order has not yet been challenged thus far. They haven't lost more than 4 wickets so far in all the games they've played so far in the tournament. So this is going to be a big deal. If Bangladesh can manage to chip away at their openers and have enough runs to still defend on the board, I believe they came in with the plan this morning. Like you said, Bangladesh is obviously a stronger bowling unit than they are a batting unit. So questioning the fact of as why they won the toss and decided to bat first, I think they believe their bowlers can handle the pressure better than their batters can handle the scoreboard pressure.
Well, it's really confusing for me, Sunil, because considering how Rohit Sharma has been ultra aggressive in his approach this time around, if you've heard that, he's as good as the Lamborghini that he was caught in last night when he was speeding on the Mumbai-Pune highway. Why would you make such a decision knowing that, likes of Virat Kohli are going to be waiting in the wings to take you to the cleaners?
Well, absolutely. See, this is a different team altogether. We've got to talk about the greatness of this team. You've got 2 of the most amazing batters at the top. The ones at the middle are... You've got the strongest middle order batter, and again you've got 2 of the best all-rounders in Hardik Pandya and Jadeja. And what do you have? You've got pinch hitters at the back. So if you look at the team, overall composition of the team, it's well formed. The jigsaw puzzle has finally fallen into place for India, and this is what it is made up of. Some of the best bowlers and the most destructive. I'm not saying the best chasers, I'm saying the most destructive batters, and that is the reason why we are at number 1 and number 2, because of our net run rate. If you've seen, we've won all the matches, 3 matches, just about 30, 35 and 40.3 overs, and that's a commendable thing that your batters have done.
Absolutely. And Tasmin, the last time Bangladesh defeated India in any World Cup was way back in 2007. I don't know what kind of memories that brings back, but we were thrown out of that World Cup. Actually, we could not even get into the Super 8. And of course, what happened with Bob Woolmer in Trinidad and Tobago was obviously an unfortunate thing. But let's talk about Mushfiqur as well, who scored 250s in this tournament. But the rest of the team has struggled, in all ways as is possible. Najmul Hussain, Shanto and Litton Das also just have had a single knock each. Now, this is not the kind of, a contribution that will lead you to get into the semi-finals. Forget about the finals.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's better on Litton Das today. He needed the runs under his belt and has managed to come to the show as well. For me, Shanto, I don't know, he's just been missing in action. Hey, I expected to see a lot more from him this World Cup because he's had a great campaign leading up to this as well. Not entirely sure what happened to the form before starting these games as well. But it's going to be a tough outing today for Bangladesh. Take nothing away from it. I do think the Indians have been spectacular today out in the field. Not to just put aside it, but KL Rahul took a brilliant catch down leg as well that had Shanto believing he had got just enough bat on it, and he just didn't. The Indians have been spectacular out there in the field, and I think it's going to be one of those cases for Bangladesh today that they have to convert half chances into full chances and make things happen. They can't wait for things to happen.
Absolutely. And the last 5 ODIs that India has played, they have lost just 1. Of the last 5 ODIs that Bangladesh, Sunil, has played, they have lost all four except one. What kind of a chance are we ready to give Bangladesh bowling when they're going to be up against Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli and the likes? Is it going to be, just net practice for these stalwarts and a preparation for the next match? Or do you think that Bangladesh does have that stamina and energy and perhaps that unpredictability also that has been showcased in the past to, basically stump India in some way?
Well, if you look at the nomenclature of three teams, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Netherlands, they are not here to go to the semi-finals. They are here to just create a havoc inside it by defeating one or two teams, and what it does, it throws the World Cup open. It gets the other number 5, 6 and 7 up to number 4 or 5, and that's what has happened. And that is the reason why Pakistan is sitting pretty at number 4, not because they've won brilliantly, but because the other teams have lost, the Australia and the England, and that is a prime example of it. So make no mistakes, these teams are not here to win the World Cup, but they are here to just completely take, just to create more excitement, as you would call.
Well, Virat Kohli has an average of 68 against Bangladesh and a strike rate of over 100. And Tasmin, Bangladesh hasn't played an ODI against India in the last 25 years. And the reason perhaps now I understand why they wanted to in fact bat first was because out of the last 4 games that have been played at Pune, the 3 turned up to be scores of more than 300, and there was also some drizzle last night, and no match has been played in this particular ground for the past 9 months. So all of these things could have gone in Bangladesh making that, for the lack of a better word, a hilarious decision of batting first. So what are your chances? What do you think are the chances for Bangladesh to spin this in their direction, if at all?
I think they can take a leaf, obviously, for me, from the Afghanistan playbook. For me, whereby we've seen the Afghanistans come out and open the bowling with spinners. They had one spin bowler, one seam bowler from each end, and it just brings the air of a batsman's not entirely able to just get settled into a rhythm. Tell himself, look, I'm looking to go ahead, I'm looking to play somebody that's obviously pitching up the ball to me or what have you, but you have it coming at you fast from one end and it's slowing down from the other. Not to forget that we did see Mitchell Santner yesterday with the dew setting in, with everything setting in. Yes, it may be a bit tough to grip the ball, but if the spinners do manage to actually grip the ball, they will find purchase in the surface.
All right, I'm going to in fact go over to Sunil. He's going to be giving us some extraordinary stats that, of course, are going to give you a bright insight into what some of the facts and figures pertaining to this World Cup are.
Well, what you look here is basically what the Indian team is looking like, especially when you look at the bowling sheet of the current Indian bowling attack. Now, we've got to see that we are very nicely placed because there's a healthy mix between the spin and the pacers here. What you see on my left is the name of bowlers who've played in the last 3 games and the number of runs that they've given vis-a-vis all the dot balls and everything. What you see here is Hardik Pandya who's injured today, has got 50%, around 50% of dot balls. The best is Bumrah at around 70%, and that's why his economy is really best, perhaps the best in the world today in this World Cup. Again, if you see Kuldeep Yadav, he's an attacking bowler. So what happens is the moment he gives loops, he goes in for a run. And when he goes for runs, that's the time he takes the wickets. Again, nothing to compare with Jasprit Bumrah, who's got 9 wickets. But Kuldeep Yadav has 5, which is as good as Ravindra Jadeja. Remember, these figures are prior to this match at 3 o'clock. What we have is the data from the 3 matches. This is what it looks very exciting. You've got Ravindra Jadeja with 5 wickets, Siraj with 3, Yadav with 5, again Bumrah with 9, Hardik Pandya with 4. But what important India has as we go along here is this, the dot ball percentage per the bowling, because this is where you will get to know which bowler is very key. Kuldeep Yadav has 57%, which is very good. And if you look at all our bowlers, Shardul Thakur 58, again he's got 1 wicket, but if you look at the dot percentage here, this is what makes the entire World Cup very exciting, because you restrict the batter, especially in the 41st to the 50th over, which is where they explode. And all these percentage figures add up to that. And again, when you go in for a high run chase and when the net run rate happens, this is what we tend to do. With this, I pass on to my colleague.
Very interesting fact sheet there, Sunil. In fact, very impressive numbers by Hardik Pandya as well. For what he lacks in economy, he definitely makes up for the dot ball percentage that you just showed us, and of course the kind of wickets he's been able to pick up. He's been injured today. Let's not forget that he also had a back surgery a few years ago. Hardik Pandya is in fact that mainstay, that balancing act that has differentiated India in troubled times.
We've got a breaking news here. We've got 256. Bangladesh has got 256 for 8, and that's good.
That's still a competitive score.
Yes.
That is something that could trouble India if they decide to take Bangladesh for granted, and that is something that you don't do in a tournament like the World Cup.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.